Okay, bit of an odd unboxing because we are here today with my cardboard package, specially delivered by Yodel. Look at that, look, it says this way up. Obviously it doesn't apply to Yodel because it arrived upside down. Unboxing today indoors because it's bloody dark and it's cold outside, and I've been at work all day. So let's have a look, see what it is. So it's the bedroom unboxing. Let's have the lid off. Sorry about the freehand dodgy iPhone camera work. Let's have a look what we got. Spare parts, dodgy filter, softish, fairly crap rubber pipes, plug with the compulsory glued on polystyrene, kind of sticky. A little box. Oh, look at this. The little itty bitty pump. But that's alright because it's QC passed. Oh my word. It's 240 volts. Oh, interesting. Allegedly it does 600 litres an hour. Not sure I want to put 240 volts into a bucket. That might put my hand in. It's got a lift height of 1.2 metres. Fairly pathetic, really. I suppose it'll do. The compulsory Chinglish manual. I've had a little peruse. Look at that. See some quality in here. Let's have a look. Actually, technical data. There we go. Look. It's cooling, water cooled. Shout down, manual stop, automatic stop if optional. Pressure indicate gauge. Less than 78 dB. I doubt it somehow. I've already looked through the manual. It's fairly poo, to be fair. Yeah, we'll come back to that at some point. Two nice pieces of polystyrene. Compulsory little gauge already running. It's quite dinky, really. I like the box. The box is pretty fucking hefty. Some of this medium density foam doings. Pipes. Don't look the best quality, to be fair, not compared to the sort of stuff I use at work. Oh shit, it's a bit heavier than I thought it was. Don't know if I can lift this out one-handed with... Might have to come back to that in a second. But it looks alright. I mean, looking at the surface finish on the pipes, it's, yeah, not what you call high quality. The suede lock stuff that I use at work, much better quality than this, so I might have to have a quick shufty at that. I know that's 10 bar rated. This stuff looks a bit pish. Oh wow, look at that little air filter. You see that? It's about as much use as a chocolate teapot. Oh, I'm quite impressed with that. The actual, look at that. The temperature probe is fitted, and it's actually a nice snug fit. Okay, it's interesting. It seems to go in a long way. I've seen these on some others, and they are feeble. They're really loose in the hole, which isn't going to work very well. This kind of temperature probe, thermocouple, needs to have good contact. In a setup like this, it needs to have good contact with the thing that it's measuring the temperature of. If it's dangling in free air, it'll only measure the radiated heat. It'll do that. Let's try and do that without my sausage fingers in the way. Set the old doings. That's pretty good. Flashing light. Power button. Okay, feels alright. Finish feels okay. Right, we'll be back. Okay, I've plonked it on the lid, got it out of the box. Bit of a struggle. Got to say, to be fair, considering it's a cardboard box, it's really strong, really hefty box. It's impressively well packaged in reality. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. There's a lot of people out there, haters and whatever, that and the you only get what you pay for brigade, which up to a point I'd agree with, but after a point, cheap shit just gets a bigger price tag. I firmly believe that if you buy something that's really cheap, then it's probably really cheap. If you buy something in the mid-range, it's probably okay. If you buy something at the upper end of the mid-range, you're kind of getting what you pay for, and anything massively over that, you're paying for a name or a brand, or it's the same thing, it's just more expensive, and it's just stupid. So there are people out there who say, oh, if you buy the non-branded versions and this, that and the next thing, that you're going to get some hokey piece of crap that isn't going to work, and you're risking your money and blah blah blah. But these people have never actually tried anything other than the Yong-Heng. So turn this little bad boy around, show what I mean. God bloody hell, it's heavier than it looks. Look, oh no, aren't I a bad boy? It hasn't got Yong-Heng in white sticky letters on the side of it. Now I could go out and get a vinyl transfer that says Yong-Heng and rub it onto the side here, and whoa, look at that, it's a Yong-Heng. Now this one was, I don't know, half the price of the advertised Yong-Hengs. If you watch Ergonology, Steve Allen, he does a little review of a Yong-Heng, and he kind of says that you can only buy the Yong-Heng because it's others might be crap, and they're knockoffs as he calls them. But the fact of the matter is, without going into too much detail, that this little pump and every little pump like it are all made in the same Chinese factory owned by Yong-Heng, and the way it works is fairly similar to most Chinese stuff, mini lathes, mini mills, whatever you want to buy. And the way they do it is they make a selection for themselves and they brand it under their own name, Yong-Heng, and with the mini lathes it's like Sieg. And then they also manufacture the exact same lathe or pump for other companies. In the lathe market, Little Machine Shop, Grizzly, Sealy, Clark place their orders for their little lathes or whatever it is, and they will give the Chinese factory a spec, and the parts that don't meet that spec go into a bin for scrapping. And what happens typically is the Sieg ones will be to a spec, the Yong-Hengs will be to a spec, and then you'll get the bigger name brands such as your Sealeys and your Grizzlies in the lathes and whatever they are in these little pumps, and they will be of a similar quality or to the quality that the manufacturers asked for. Now those bits that are left over, the ones that are just out of spec, go into other machines, and then at the end of it you'll end up with skips full of junk. And these are the bits that are well out of spec, and these bits tend to go in the unbranded. So what our little Chinese friends do is, rather than throw the bits away, they will make a selection of machines that are mostly crap. If you've ever had anything to do with the 7x14 mini lathe situation, what they do with them is awful. They are terrible things if they're unbranded, but if you buy something with some sort of a name on it, it's generally, not always, a reasonable quality. Now this little pumpy thing was marketed as Crenex, so it's got some sort of a name. This was, I think, the Yong-Heng retails, Amazon, eBay, wherever, for about £300 to £400. This little bad boy was 180. Let's have a look around this side just to prove the point. Here's the little plate, and look there, what's that say? Model is a YH QB01 Yong-Heng. So look at that, it's a Yong-Heng pump. The serial number, it's made in China. Allegedly it was made August 2020. 30 megapascals, 50 litres a minute. So a CE mark on it. I fucking doubt that, to be fair. So at the end of the day, this is a Yong-Heng compressor without the white sticker. Now, if I was a less scrupulous sort of a person, I would go onto eBay possibly, or some other website. Let me look at this. Let's have a look at the little thing. It's not too bad, is it? Still not impressed with that little filter. Yeah, it's going to do diddly. Now I reckon if I was to go onto eBay or some other graphics site, order a vinyl graphic, laser cut, put it on the side, rub it down, peel it off. I could put Yong-Heng Air Pump on the other side, put it back on eBay and sell it for 400 quid. Bit naughty. But, you know, when I was saying about you get what you pay for, do you though? Do you really? How many of these have gone back onto eBay with a Yong-Heng sticker on for twice the price? I wouldn't like to guess. I wouldn't like to make that assumption. Okay, so on this side, underneath the little serial plate, the little VIN plate, we have the main power input socket and the little, what do you call it, figure 8, old tape recorder type power outlet. That's where the little 2-bit pump plugs in. So I'm guessing that's a 240 volt outlet. Don't know, not overly keen on sticking 240 volts in a bucket of water. Some cheap ass Chinese pump that looks like it's come out of a Lego set. I mean, it's probably be all right. We'll probably give it a go. And like I said, this little bad boy, there it is. Can you see the label? I don't know if you can upside down. Look. There we go. The H Max is one of the things you need to be looking at. 1.2 meters. Now that's the maximum lift height of this pump. 1.2 meters. So when you see these people on YouTube with their little bucket of water with next to nothing in it underneath the desk, you're pushing your luck a little bit there, because this little pump's only designed to lift a head of water 1.2 meters into the air. You've got your thing under a bench, your compressor on the top of it, you're probably close to a meter, maybe a bit more, which is seriously going to reduce the pressure that this little pump can send around this really, you know, basic cooling system. I'm not entirely sure how much of this little head, the second stage head, how much of a water jacket that's got, whether it's just a drilling that runs between A and B, or whether the whole of this has got a small water jacket. I don't know. I'm not going to take it to bits to find out. I suspect there is possibly a waterway that runs around the whole of the head, but equally it could just be a port, which probably isn't going to do a lot. So at this point, it looks all right, doesn't it? I mean, if it fills my gun or fills my bottle, what did I work it out at? I think it was about 6 or 8 times I've got to fill my bottle to make this thing pay. I suspect it's going to cost me, well, it depends really. My local dive shop is 13 miles away. Now I don't know at the minute if they're doing fill while you wait, or you have to leave it overnight, fill it and collect the next day, or whenever. In that case, that's 50 odd miles, which is a good chunk of diesel, because it's all crappy back road, so you won't get no fuel economy. Plus your fill, I suspect it's going to cost me 20-25 quid a time to go and fill it up. So it's not, it'll soon pay for itself. So the next thing we need to do, well, next thing I'm going to do, is some modifications. Things that we need to try to extend the longevity of this little investment. At the minute I'm not shooting that much because half the time the fucking range is shut. Most of the clubs have shut. And I haven't really got anywhere at the minute. I mean, I'm quite impressed with it really, for what it cost, for the sort of pressure it's going to chuck out. It's quite impressive. Let's have a look at the bag of junk that comes with it. So there's the little 3D printed by the look of it. That's the breather. Take this bung out, fill it with oil, pop that little doodad in there, which when it's running, alleviates the crankcase pressure. And you've got the oil and water separator. I think that's ambitious. It's literally this little white, they call them cigarette filters, tampons, whatever you want to oh, excuse me, whatever you want to designate the thing. I mean, yeah, it looks like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realise that that's going to be about as much use as a handbrake on a canoe. You know, that's going to do literally stuff all on there. So my plan is I'm going to leave that on the line. That's going to be like the primary oil sponge. I'm then going to attach this end to a desiccant filter, maybe two, charcoal filter, maybe just a combined one, I don't know yet. I'll have to see what takes my fancy. That should sort the air outside to some sort of filtration. This little sintered bronze effort, I think what we're going to do with that, we're going to unscrew that and we're going to put an extension onto here, maybe some sort of plastic container with this on the end inside the container, and then fill the container with some sort of desiccant, so that when we're drawing the air into the machine, it's coming through a desiccant filter. Oh, it would be sat here. Where's that box? So we'll have a desiccant filter there, maybe, with a pipe into there with this little sintered bronze thing in the desiccant filter. So the air's going to come through here. The moisture should get stripped a bit. Go through this filter, stop any particles, and then into there. Now the compression is going to generate a ton of heat, which probably is not going to be very well filtered. Know what I'm on about, cooled. So that is then going to, water doesn't compress, so once you compress the air, the water will separate, the heat will help it to separate some more, and then it will cool down as it travels towards the bottle, which will allow it to condensate. So we want, hopefully these are where it's going to catch some condensation, and you'll be able to just let a bit out, and on that side let a bit out, let the water out. Go through our line through a desiccant filter to hopefully strip any more moisture, and then a charcoal filter to take away. This is bound to be the least efficient motor going, compressor going, so there is probably going to be some blow by on the piston, at which point you're going to get the smell of oil in your air, which is probably going to end up in your dive tank. And at that point, if you take it to your dive shop and they smell that, they probably aren't going to refill it, and you'd be on your own from there on in. So the idea is that I'm going to put a charcoal filter on it to try and remove the smell. So hopefully that we won't have any oil, we won't have any moisture, and we won't have any stink in the bottle. Hopefully when we fire the gun, it won't smell like an old jack going off. But that's the plan. Here's the oil window that you normally see in the videos. Clearly got nothing in it because it will be shipped empty, legal reasons. So we've got to get some oil anyway. Now they recommend ISO 46 hydraulic oil. Yeah, I'm gonna probably go with some compressor oil because it'll probably be better. Hydraulic oil, not great for compressors as a rule, so we're going to go with a compressor oil, and maybe get the right. I think what they list is AW46 and whatever the other one is. I forget off the top of my head, but we're going to go for compressor, more of a compressor based oil. I've rambled for ages now. Stop this bit here and carry on in a minute. Okay, so these are the coolant pipes. These are like a softish, rubbery sort of silicone. I don't think they are silicone, but something-ish like that. These are going to go onto these two barbs, here and here, in and out. Yeah. What are my plans? Potentially I might take these out and put straight ones in. Don't know yet. Not entirely certain what I'm going to do there. But anyway, these are going to run to my bucket. The bucket, not entirely sure what I'm going to use for my bucket at the moment. I was planning to get like a water butt, 60 litre water butt, and fill it. I see so many of these on videos where they've got a 5-gallon bucket with like 2 litres of water in the bottom, and then they're chucking ice cubes at it because it's getting hot. Which seems daft, because if you've got a 5-gallon bucket, that's 25 litres of water or coolant. Put 25 litres in it, for fuck's sake. The more water you've got, the longer it'll take to heat up. And my plan was to get a 60 litre water butt and fill it and leave it constantly filled and leave it constantly connected. Don't know how practical that's going to be at the moment, so we're going to be looking at that. Potentially changing these to a different angle or a different fitting. Don't know exactly what I want to do there yet, but it's a possibility. Because they come out at 90 degrees. Ideally I'd want them to come out that way or straight. Don't know, I'll have to think about that. Another idea that I've got is these pipes. These look fairly low budget pipes. One of the things that I use this pipe at work for is to make pigtails for heat dissipation. So I'm thinking I might take this off, make a spiral down here before it goes into here, so it's got like a heat sink almost. Potentially I could do that with all of the pipes. It depends, because it's going to get bulky, awkward. Don't know entirely how much use it'll be. Potentially it'll be useful. I'm guessing high pressure comes out of this line and goes into this accumulator, because the air out hose is there. I'm guessing that this will be first stage into this accumulator, moisture trap, burst pressure regulator, and then into the high pressure, and then out of the high pressure. So potentially this one and this one could do with being a spiral to give them more surface area to cool it down a bit. Might be overkill, I don't know. I'll have to see how I feel. The other thing I want to do is cool this water before it goes back into the bucket. I've got a couple of plans for that. I've got a part that needs looking at, a couple of bits to buy. I need to get some oil. Coolant wise, I see a lot of people just running this on water. and after a bit inside of the heads corrodes and it becomes fairly useless. You've got to, in my opinion, use some kind of corrosion inhibitor, be that antifreeze or water wetter or something like that. I don't know yet where I'm going to go. Probably just antifreeze will be fine. There's this myth that don't use antifreeze because it doesn't cool as well as water. The whole thing about any kind of cooling system is boiling point water. If you look at your car is going to be close with the closed pressure system on it. It's going to be close to double the boiling point. If you leave the rad cap off of your car, it will boil a hell of a lot quicker than if you put it on and drive the hell out of it. And this is just a simple flow system, in, out, constant flow. There's no pressure in it. There's, I think, going to be very little pressure in it. Potentially, I want a bigger pump with a bit more flow and a bit more pressure. I'm going to do the thing that other people don't seem to do with these, and that's mount my coolant system above, or so that the exit point is at least level with the entry point. That way at least you've got a head of pressure above it. If it's in a bucket on the floor, you're having to lift it, you're losing pressure. That's not going to help the cooling. So I think we're going to go with that. What else do we need? Oh, the desiccant filters. I've got to have a look at those, what we're going to do with those. And then hopefully we can do a fire up. Yeah. What do they call it? Free air. Not exactly free, is it? But so far so good. Oh, I know what else I want to get. One of those little vibration hour meters. Probably don't really need it, but yeah, you know, might as well have it. Stick it on the back there somewhere, so when it runs, it vibrates, it tots up how many hours it's run for, so that you can sort of see service intervals. But I mean, the oil, it holds like an egg cup full of oil. You'd probably just as well to change it every time you use it, or every second time, or I think the first couple of times it's going to be every time you use it. I mean, I've dealt with engines that have come from China and they come with casting sand included in the price. Swarf isn't an optional extra, you get it free of charge. So the likelihood is that this thing is probably going to get the oil dirty very quickly on the first couple of runs. Little rubber anti-vibration feet probably aren't going to do diddly. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So far, I'm impressed. I'm pleased with it. It looks the part. It doesn't say Yong-Heng on it, but you know, hate me if you want. If it works, it works. And it just proves that these bigots who have to have everything, you know, that's, you get what you pay for. Oh, you fucking idiot, you don't. You get what you're prepared to pay for it. Just because it costs £1,000 doesn't mean it's 10 times better than one that costs 100. It might be a couple of times better, but the £500 one, it isn't going to be twice as good as that. Nowhere. £500 one and the £1,000 one are going to be the same. It's always been like that. It's just people who probably got too much money or want to justify the stupid amount they've spent on something that somebody else has bought exactly the same thing for 500 quid less. So anyway, that's it for this bit. Might have a little look in that filter in a minute. Might read some excerpts from the Chinglish manual, because it is quite funny. Next to useless, but it's quite funny. You could interpret some of the waffle in there any way you like, really. Anyway, so that's it. The Non Heng Air Rifle Pump. Catch you later.